Council meeting will now come to order. Roll call.
Mayor Cicerillo, Councilmember Stamm,
Here.
Councilmember Evans,
Here.
Councilmember Bass,
Here.
Councilmember Anderson,
Here.
Councilmember Gregory,
Here.
Councilmember Kerstetter,
Here.
Councilmember Wilson,
Here.
Councilmember Colbert.
Please rise for the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our most kind and loving Heavenly Father, we are grateful to gather here and humbled by the grace and mercy we've seen at thy hand. We're thankful for our Savior, Jesus Christ, and his life, and especially grateful that we can celebrate his birth at this time of the year. We pray that the lessons that we learn in the scriptures will live in our hearts, that we will be able to love one another and show humility and charity to those in our community. We pray for those in this council that they will have thy inspiration to guide righteously and to guide the community in the right direction, that they will make good decisions that will benefit the communities, the citizens of this community. We pray for everybody that lives in this area, that they will be blessed with health and strength, that they will be blessed with prosperity as we follow thy precepts. We thank thee again for our Savior and his life and how that has blessed us. We say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we have the approval of the agenda, I'd like to remove item 9, the appointments. Since the mayor is absent tonight and that is a mayoral appointment, we will remove those for a future meeting. So item 9, appointments will be removed. Mr. Kerstetter?
We remove consent agenda item I and make it new business L, just for discussion purposes.
Okay. Council, any more amendments to the agenda? If not, I need a motion to approve as amended.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as amended. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Actually, all in favor, raise your hand. I'm sorry. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Lou makes this look a lot easier. Item 6, administration agenda, city council meeting minutes. Item A.
We can approve those as 1 or 2.
Okay, so we have both the previous council meeting and the special meeting.
Motion to approve minutes of November 15th, 2022 regular council meeting as presented. Second.
All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign.
Motion to approve the minutes from the November 29th, 2022 special called council meeting as presented. Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. I'm abstaining. I was not present at that meeting. So I can't approve or disapprove the. Item 10. I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. Item 7, proclamations, presentations, longevity employee awards.
Good evening, council. Going to go a little bit out of order from that order up there, but we'll get through them all, and I'm going to go first. Frank Miller, has 10 years of service to the city of Valley Center. He started his service in the Public Works Department, where he did numerous jobs. And then he kind of transitioned into animal control, along with stormwater. I was going to say wastewater, but stormwater. And then his position was moved over back to public safety, where animal control used to be. And we added the duties of evidence custodian to him. So he's been doing that ever since he's been with us, and we appreciate his service. He's a valuable member to our team. Thank you. Nick's been with us 20 years. He started his service with the city as a part-time firefighter. And then some of you that are here remember we had a dispatch many years ago. He became a full-time dispatcher with us, continued his part-time firefighting, and after dispatch, he continued with the firefighting part-time until last year, and he came aboard full-time as the captain in the fire department. So he's had a lot of years with us. I've worked with him his entire career, so known him since he was little as well. Thank you very much. This one's not a typo. You're reading that correctly. 45 years of service to the citizens of Valley Center. He started in 1977, if I had my math correct. I would have been 5 years old then. Started as a part-time firefighter with the city. He also worked as a part-time police officer. Not a lot of people know that or remember that because it's been a while. But that's when I started, when I came on in 1995. He was still a part-time police officer, so I worked with him in that capacity then. I'm sure he taught me a thing or two as I was just out my career. He continued after he stopped the law enforcement as a part-time firefighter, became the part-time fire chief, and then 4 years ago transitioned to full-time, where he serves the citizens now full-time as the fire chief, and now he's imparting his wisdom to many, many young people that we have in the fire department. So we certainly appreciate his dedication to the citizens. If the audience would indulge us for a minute, I need a picture.
Smile.
Thank you to you three from everyone here. We're very grateful for your continued service, and I think it's pretty rare to see those kind of years in one place. So we really appreciate it as city staff. And
We got one more for you.
okay. Just pretend I said this after this one, okay?
You can say it again.
Ron Ekstrom's been with the city for 20 years. I've had the pleasure of knowing Ron a little over 20 years personally. I've only been able to work with Ron just under 5. Ron can be serious sometimes. If you're messing around and not paying attention to safety, he can be pretty serious. Running a weed eater without eye protection, or misusing a piece of equipment, or just simply not taking responsibility seriously. I'm sure there's some employees, past or present, that could attest to this. Ron can be emotional sometimes. Anyone that knows him could probably speak to times that this is apparent. Anyone that knows Ron can attest that he can also be a down and out clown sometimes. Especially those that would know that would be his wife and kids. Ron came to the city of Valley Center in August of 2002 after being laid off from Boeing. He brought with him a combined 10 years of wastewater experience, 5 industrial and 5 municipal. He started as water operator, and then since then he held titles of chief water operator, chief wastewater operator, assistant director of public works, and now finally infrastructure manager, which he holds today. Ron is a proud holder of a Class 4 wastewater license from KDHE and a Class 3 water license. Those are not easy to obtain. Ron has been married to his lovely wife Dee for 42 years. Yeah. They have 2 children, Jenna and Chase, and 6 grandchildren. Ron tells me that they are the reason he gets up and goes to work every day. And I'd have to agree with this. He is an avid coon hunter, and twice held a state championship in this. Everyone knows that. He loves fishing, and many would agree that he makes some of the best fish I've ever tasted. Please join me in congratulating Ron Ekstrom on 20 years of meritorious service to the City of Valley Center.
Come look at you, Wade. Come on.
All right, once again, thank you to Lonnie, Ron, Nick, and Frank for all your service. We appreciate it. Next item is item 8, public forum. This is the time of the meeting where anyone from the audience can speak to an item that is not on the agenda. Anyone present that would like to speak to an item not on the agenda? Not seeing anyone, we will move on to item 10, old business. Item A, public hearing and 2022 budget amendment approval.
Good evening, members of council. As we talked about at our last meeting, tonight we are presenting the fiscal year 22 amended budget. This is because when we first budgeted for the year, we set our expenditures at a certain level. If we intend to exceed those expenditures, we must amend the budget so we can have that allowance to reach that expenditure threshold. The funds being amended tonight are the Special Streets and Highway, the TIF fund, and the Pool and Rec Sales Tax Fund. The numbers are included here. But first, we need to open the public hearing, allow for any comment, and then close the public hearing, and then we will vote to approve the amended fiscal year 22 budget.
I will now open the public forum, public hearing at 7:13 and 14 seconds to address the budget amendment. Is there anyone here that would like to speak to that item? Not seeing anyone, I will close the hearing at 7:13 and 33 seconds.
Motion to approve amendments to the 2022 budget as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
And there will be 3 copies of the budget certificate that's on the screen now being passed down. So just please sign each of those copies. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Move on to new business. Item A, resolution 724-22, gap waiver.
Again. That was the one after that. So this is our annual resolution to waive the gap standards and conform to the state of Kansas statutory basis of the cash accounting, which is something we do every year to maintain our regulatory basis of accounting for the city.
Motion to approve resolution 724-22 gap waiver.
Second.
A motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item B, under new business, approval of memorandum of understanding with Valley Center Animal League.
Evening, council. I believe you all have a copy of this memorandum of understanding. Just to give you a little backdrop on it, you know, as the animal control officer, I work hand in hand with Valley Center Animal League. I could not do my job without them. They take every animal that goes unclaimed within the city and find good, loving homes for them. They're a 501c3 nonprofit organization that operates off donations and volunteers that serve within the organization. Whenever the city takes possession of an animal, we have to keep it for 3 days under state statute. We then transfer ownership to the Animal League, and they begin to care for those animals at that time. Ideally, what the league would like is to be able to immediately foster out all those animals. Sometimes that doesn't happen. And so the only boarding option within the city currently is to house them with one of the local veterinarians. So where that becomes a problem is when you have a dog that has nowhere else to go. And we have volunteers that will take the dogs for walks a couple times a day, maybe take them to the dog park, but they basically are spending 20 plus hours a day in a crate or kennel. And while there's nothing wrong with leaving dogs in crates or kennels, their quality of life when they're outside that kennel is very important in order for managing dogs that way to be successful. And when they're in 20 plus hours a day, they don't have any quality of life. So the Animal League, in looking to find a solution to that problem, determined that what they would like to do as an organization was to put in a small kennel building. And that's what you have outlined in this memorandum of understanding. They have purchased a kennel building. It's 14 to 32 foot prefabricated shed type building. There's going to be 3 outdoor dog runs that lead into 3 indoor dog runs. There is going to be a separate area for a cat room. And it's going to be heated and air conditioned for the Kansas Department of Agriculture standards. It's going to be a class building. The Animal League has worked with the city in the past. We would not have the dog park that we do if it were not for the animal city working together. And I can tell you that the vast majority of these people are here because they support the Animal League and support the Animal League's efforts. And they want to see this project move forward. I think the memorandum of understanding is self-explanatory. It outlines the responsibilities of all parties. I'd encourage you to approve it and in order for us to move forward with the project. I mean, it's a big deal here in the community. We're a community of pet lovers. Historically, I think that we probably average sending the Animal League between $20 and $25 a year. Sometimes that's difficult finding homes for all those animals, but they do it. They do it every single time. Spring, we had a litter of 10 puppies with them. Found homes for all of them. A very valuable organization, and Don Taylor is the president of the Animal League. If you have any questions in particular to the Animal League, I'm sure she'd be glad to answer. If you have any questions about what the plan is for this or anything like that, I'd be glad to answer.
Mr. Kerstetter.
First, I've appreciated the Animal League in the city since I've been here. I actually adopted one of my dogs from you guys. So where are you going to put the building at?
It's going to be located on city property where the old city shop is on the west side of the building.
Is that on a second? Okay. That's all I had.
Mr. Colbert.
Yeah, I got a couple questions. One is, what's the hours of operation?
It's not going to be open to the general public. In terms of hours of operation, like if they have an adoptive animal that is at the facility that they want to show someone, it would be by appointment.
So there'd be nobody around when the animals during the daytime?
No, there will be, and that's outlined in the memorandum of understanding. There will be volunteers from Animal League that go to the facility and care for the animals, clean up the facility, and those sorts of activities. If it's an animal that I've placed in there before the 3-day holding period, then I'm going to go over and take care of it.
Is there any age restrictions for people working for the fleet?
I think generally we want them to be 16.
Our insurance policy says 16.
Okay, thank you.
Motion to approve MOU with the Valley Center Animal League and authorize mayor to sign, or Mr. Anderson.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you very much, everyone. Item item C, Resolution 725-22, Sunflower Valley Drainage Improvement Authority.
Good evening, Council President and members of council. How are we doing tonight?
Good.
All right, here before you, kind of the next few items, the resolutions are all for Sunflower Valley, of course. This is land that was sold. We did close on it last week, executed those agreements, and things are moving forward at a record pace. I guarantee you that record pace. And so before you is all of the resolutions to actually set up the districts, the improvement districts. You have to do each one separately. And so first one, of course, is going to be the drainage, and then so on and so forth. And so we do have Dominic here with us from Gilmore Bell that can answer any questions when it comes to setting up the districts. He is the expert, the guru when it comes to that. Heather, you got to keep that door open, please, per state law. Nope, I know you got to. Thank you. And then also too, our own Mr. Smith is the guru when it comes to the finance side on how it will work out with the letters of credit and also the payback. Sam, for any questions?
Motion for approval of Resolution 725-22, authorizing construction and financing drainage improvements to the Sunflower subdivision.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item D, Resolution 726-22, Sunflower Valley Sanitary Sewer Authority.
Good evening again. Same thing that you just approved for the drainage. This is for now the sanitary sewer for all the sewer pipes. Of course, this is going to be an extension from off of Dexter, right kind of by Abilene there where it curves over, and extending it to the south. We're going to fix that hump, where you go down to basically the bottom of the earth and you come back up. So we're going to smooth that out. It will not fully eliminate it. Okay, I'm going to tell you that now. It will not fully eliminate, but it will make it a lot better. Jake guarantees it. If not, but it will be a lot smoother in that transition. So that, is large part, due to the sewer line extension, and it then makes us have the ability to make that a little nicer, as well as to widen that radius. Because if you've ever driven over there, like a lot of us, even with my Expedition, it's hard sometimes. That's a tight corner, and so it'll be nice to widen that and make it a little smoother for everyone that uses that as a main corridor. So, Sam, for any questions on the sewer?
I make a motion of approval of Resolution 726-22, authorizing construction and financing sanitary sewer improvements to the Sunflower Valley subdivision.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item E, Resolution 727-22, Sunflower Valley Paving Authority.
Good evening again. I just am staying up here. All right, same thing. This one is for the paving. We did opt, and once there is approval, if you so choose, the next item below, to go ahead and opt from the asphalt to concrete. The price difference is really close, and for mill and overlays, and just with the price per barrel of oil right now, the concrete's really competitive to asphalt. So spend a little bit now to really saved in the long run, especially when you spread that out over specials on that property. We did meet with the new landowner, and they are excited for this project. Actually went through some of their properties in Bel Air that they're building. So if you do get a chance to drive over kind of by the Central Park area by Bel Air, right north of their city hall, those buildings, those are the same things or very similar that you'll see here in Valley Center. And so if you ever are out for a casual drive, that'd be a good one to look at that you'll see here in Valley Center. So on the paving side, looking at concrete. Dan, for any questions?
Motion for approval of the resolution 727-22, authorizing construction and financing paving improvements to the Sunflower subdivision.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Have some discussion. Mr. Kerstetter.
Excellent.
In the resolution, we're using concrete. We don't need to do anything else beyond approve this. It's just for clarification. Okay,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Yep. Gives you authority to spend for pavement.
Okay, gotcha.
Any asphalt or concrete. So it's
Okay.
really about the dollar amount.
Okay,
Actually,
which is what we're going to cover in a few items.
Yep, a few items down is when
Okay.
we'll get into the nitty
All
gritty
right.
of the
Thank you.
concrete.
Mrs. Gregory.
I don't know if this is when we need to discuss it or not, but is this curb and gutter or ditches or what?
Yes, all curb and gutter.
Okay,
And so yeah, there won't be any rolling efficiency or those things. So the pavement will also include the curb
okay, thank you.
and sidewalks.
Any further discussion? If not, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We have a pattern here. Resolution 728-22, Sunflower Valley Water Authority.
Good evening again. It's been a while. No. And so right along with everything else, well, they're going to need water. And so this is for all the water lines throughout the subdivision. Stand for any questions.
Make a motion for approval of resolution 728-22, authorizing construction and financing water improvements to the Sunflower Valley addition.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, council. Item G, notice of award to Meese Construction, Sunflower Valley. It is Meese, correct?
Yes.
Wanted to make sure I wasn't saying it wrong.
Good evening. Jake Basha with SEH. We had our bid letting on Sunflower Valley improvements end of October, and we got everything figured out to award. Prices were lower than my estimate, so very good prices. I think we had two bids that were relatively close in the total bid, so really good competitive prices. Like I said, lower than my estimate. So they're ready to get going.
Mr. Kerstetter.
This is probably from Mr. Clark. So why, out of curiosity, why didn't we see all the other, who else bid on this project? We only see that Meese had the lowest bid. Usually we get a list of who bid on it and
Yeah, I sent you that. I know. That is 100% my error in not including in the packet. We did receive two qualifying bidders. Yes, Wildcat and Meese, right? Is that two? Okay. Yep, those two qualifying bidders between Wildcat and Meese Construction, and Meese was the lower of the two overall. So I do apologize that I failed to include that in the packet, as yes, it is typical. So
for a second there, I thought we approved it already, but
that's 100% my error.
okay.
But yes, we did receive multiple bids, and we did have a public bid opening here.
Yeah. Sorry, I lost a note. I guess it's on a different item.
And actually, Mr. Smith is fantastic. Thank you, Barry. Here's
That's
the Wildcat.
okay. Oh, that's the Wildcats?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
3369.
Okay.
And just to clarify this motion that we have, This will be for the mayor to sign, correct? Okay, just so council knows, it's not for me.
Motion for approve the award for the construction contract for the Sunflower Valley Public Improvement to Meese Construction and authorize mayor to sign.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, sir. Item H, approval of construction, nope, that's, yes. Yes, I did. I saw Meese twice. Approval of construction agreement with Meese Construction.
So this is for the construction administration, on-site construction services, and material testing for the.
This one is the contract. The one prior, so sorry for the confusion. The one prior was awarding the bid, and now this one is for the actual contract with Meese Construction for the work.
Council, is there any questions?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Kerstetter.
Again, I'm not sure if I'm in the right section because it's all kind of flowing together here. On page 59 of our agenda, if this is the wrong section, I can wait. It talks about Part B and the remainder. Where does it talk? What is Part B?
I think he's referring to Group B, which is the groups that we bid.
Okay. Well, and I turned the page and saw some Group A and Group B, but I'll be honest, it just looks like a bunch of numbers. So what is the difference as far as the project? Is this like the paving and the sewer, or?
So Group A was kind of the front portion or the Porsche commercial lots of the project. It also included some general construction that needed to happen, turn lane, getting sanitary to the site, getting water to the site.
Okay.
There's some sidewalks in there too. And then Group B was our way to kind of separate out the specials that were allocated to the multifamily lots.
Okay.
So they're referring to Group B in that, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, we had some different timeframes for each group.
Okay. But it'll all be done by October next year.
I would anticipate so, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Go ahead.
Any other questions?
Move to approve Sunflower Valley construction agreement with Meese Construction in the amount of $3,369,766.52 and authorize the mayor to sign.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item I, approval of construction administration and material testing with SEH for Sunflower Valley.
Again, this is for SEH to perform construction services on-site, material testing, construction administration. I imagine once we get everything signed and over to the contractor, they'll want to get started. So we'll start getting some meetings going and start doing our job for you. Most of the on-site and construction services will be done by Samantha Grieve, who's here local.
Mr. Kerstetter.
I can imagine this question is going to be asked. This is just a formal agreement that you're going to be the contact that construction company contacts before they contact the city. Okay.
Yep. We perform
It's-
on-site construction services, making sure the contractor builds and constructs the project in conformance with all the specifications.
I just wanted in layperson terms. That's all.
We're going to be on-site making sure they do their job.
Perfect.
Any other questions, council?
Make a motion. Move to approve SEH agreement for construction administration, resident project representative, and material testing services for Sunflower Valley Edition in the amount of $258,995 and authorize mayor to sign.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, sir. Item J, approval of memorandum of understanding for 2023 farmers market.
Good evening again. Before you is a MOU. This is the same one that we had entered into earlier this year for the farmers market partnership with Main Street Valley Center. It was extremely successful. Even starting in mid-year, I think it was really well attended. We had great vendors, and we want to continue that partnership for years to come. The property owner, of course, Dr. Tom Trollo.
Yep.
Has since retired. There's a nice name on his sign, but he still owns this vacant lot downtown, and so he kind of wanted to lock the city and lock the Main Street Valley Center Group into a longer term arrangement, so then we don't have to do it on an annual basis. We don't see any issues with this. For the added insurance policy on the cities, it's $5 a year. So if that's an issue, please let me know. I'll donate that. It's not a big deal. And just for the use for multiple events that we do have downtown, but really focusing on the farmers market. I'll also let Mr. Chris Strunk, president of Main Street, say any words if he has any to add. Put him on the spot. He supports it. On the record, he supports it for the YouTube viewers. Any questions?
Council?
Motion to approve MOU between City of Valley Center, Main Street Valley Center, and Tom Torillo, and authorize mayor to sign.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item K, request to solicit bids for sale of city vehicle.
Good evening, council. In your packet tonight, you'll find we're requesting to sell and dispose of a city vehicle that's past its useful life. It's been replaced with a newer vehicle. It's the red dump truck, referred to as the red dump truck. We have multiple ways of selling or disposing of vehicles. In this case, we chose to advertise and post this on the web. At your bench, you'll find a copy of what we're going to be posting on the website to dispose of this if we're approved this evening. And other than that, I would stand for any questions.
Mr. Kerstetter.
Is assuming our website, the cities,
Yes.
and then social media advertisement. Okay.
Discussed a variety of options that
Okay.
we'll be able to post that. I will state that the reason that we selected this option is because there was a gentleman that owns a similar vehicle that expressed certain interest in this. He has one that he just like that. The body on the dump truck part of it is unique and similar to his, and they don't make that anymore. So he was very interested in seeing if he could acquire that or showing interest in that. So finding the fair and equitable way is putting it out to public bid. So.
Council, any further questions?
I make a motion to authorize solicitation of bids for the sale of a 1999 GMC one-ton truck.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, sir. Item L, Lions Club Car Show. This was the item we pulled out of the consent agenda to discuss per Mr. Kerstetter's request. So I will let you kick that off.
All right. So the only reason, or the main reason I wanted to discuss it is the car show and the Fall Fest are usually right next to each other. This year it was back-to-back weekends. And I'm concerned about having Main Street closed for 2 Fridays in a row, basically Friday evening, afternoons. Because the car show, Main Street was closed for starting at 3-ish and went on till 9 or 10. Anyway, I just basically wanted to discuss it. That way we're out in the open to, I don't want to go. I'm trying not to, the businesses downtown and in that area, the traffic and not being able to park in that area might not be beneficial for some businesses. I know it was beneficial for, I think, tequilas, which that's great. I'm just trying to think of other businesses in that area, having 2 Fridays in a row, having it closed, Main Street closed.
I've got 2 other council members that would like to speak, but I think possibly either Mr. Strunk or Mr. Schrack could talk to this as far as being a Main Street
I'm
Valley
not,
Center. I just mean, if we've had any other issues or any concerns, I mean, I assume that they've talked to, we've had these, this isn't a first time
Right.
event.
right.
Chris, have you had any issues with anyone being displeased about them being, I'm not saying it's
I'm
not
not
right to
opposed.
question it, right?
I'm not opposed to it. I just was wanting to discuss it.
Okay.
That way it's,
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Dale. Yeah, it is a concern. I mean, we have that concern all the time, and we don't take it lightly shutting down the roads. I know we request it a few times a year as well, Main Street. There are at least a couple of businesses that it's going to affect on those Friday nights. The barber shop and the picture place now is a new business, and the Peterson's place. There are more shops staying open and that are retail oriented that we have to be concerned with. I think the key is communication. And if we say we're going to do something, we do it exactly the way we say we're going to do it. When we close it down, that's big. We don't want to say we're closing the street down at 6 and close at 5, because that is bad form. But I'm glad you brought it up. It's, like I said, Dale, because I think it is a concern when you're hitting back to back like that.
Okay, to talk again.
Sure.
If it's the Fall Fest is like a week or 2 weeks later, it's not that big a deal. I think the biggest deal we had this year was they were 2 Fridays in a row. That was, so I don't even know when Fall Fest is going to be this in 2023. They probably haven't determined it yet, but it's just, it's something we should think about in advance. And like I said, I'm not opposed to the car show. Wish I could have gone this year, but yeah.
Car show is awesome, and
Yeah.
we love bringing as many people downtown as possible, and that really brings a lot of people from outside of our city to downtown Valley Center, no question about it. Tequila's you mentioned them. They're usually pretty happy when we bring a crowd down.
Right.
It helps them with the overflow and people looking for food. But there are some businesses that doesn't help.
Thank you.
Mr. Colbert.
I'm going to have to step away from any action on this as a past president and a member of the Lions Club. I don't have the authority to speak for it. So when it comes time for voting,
Okay.
just abstain.
All right. Councilmember Stam.
I know a couple people that put on car shows throughout Kansas, and they compete for days to do it. So if they change dates, then they're competing with someone that might have one in Salina or Hutchinson, Derby. So they all kind of talk together and try to not compete with each other. So that's another deciding factor. Open dates that they can have something.
I will just, I have one more comment. I think Chris's comment about communication is key. Knowing several business owners on Main Street, they're aware of that. There's not a ton of closures, and it's just key. It's key for us to communicate with them so they can communicate with their customers, and so they can plan around that stuff. So, but I think it's a genuine concern, and I appreciate Dale bringing it up. So, Councilmember Bass.
Have we talked with any of those business owners directly about their viewpoints on this? This is kind of for you, Chris. You're fine. To me, it would seem like it would potentially be advertising for them. Lots of people coming down there, maybe even going in, and maybe that's not the case.
Well, for some it is. Some that's not how their model works.
Right.
Especially the barbershop is one that I'm concerned about because he has a lot of older clientele that need to have parking is an issue. But yeah, I mean, I think we need to include him in a discussion about this. I don't think we hold up this car show this next year. I see their need to get this thing out early, in their magazines and stuff that come out early. But this is definitely in discussion that probably Main Street Valley Center should have with the businesses downtown about the effect that these closures have on them. I can imagine, maybe we could get a Lions Club member or something to use their golf cart to help some of these guys come to Nick's Barbershop that Friday night, go designate them a parking area. Nick could try to communicate that with his customers or something, and we get a golf cart and bring some of these guys in, something like that. I mean, if we're talking about one or two businesses, we can definitely figure some strategy out to help them.
What, anyone from the city that's familiar with the timing on it, what time do we typically close the street for this event?
Usually about 3 o'clock, 3
Okay.
4 o'clock. On this.
So yeah, I think he's right, around 3 or 4 o'clock. And then it was, they do an award show at the end, so it was after dark. I don't think it was quite 10 o'clock, but probably 8:30, 9 o'clock. Hard to get them cleared out. So we kind of wait until the majority of the cars leave. There's a few people that'll hang out. They're legally parked. We open the road and let the cars start flowing. Everybody was safe. But yeah, it's usually afternoon when they start coming in. This year was probably the most cars I think they've ever had. So it took a little bit of time to get them all in, get everybody organized.
I'm not sure who was next. So I'll just go with Mr. Colbert.
I don't know how to phrase this, but I'm trying to stay out of it because of relationship with Lions Club and council, of course. But one of my suggestions would be maybe it'd be better to have the Lions Club along with the city group, Chris's group, and any other business person that wants to come down and have a meeting and talk these things out before any action is taken.
When do they typically advertise for these, Matt? When do they usually put these
They're
in?
usually starting to put stuff out now.
I got an idea, Ben.
Okay.
The flyer's already out for this year.
Okay.
Yeah, there's publications that go out in January. So that's why we usually put this on, as a consent agenda item. And then once the date gets closer, we put it on the agendas for the PR side of things.
Okay.
Just
Mr. Kerstetter.
let's put this on the calendar for July to get the, and this would be for 2024, get the economic, what's that?
Or 2024.
I'm talking 2024. So we're planning for 2023 right now. Let's talk about for 2024. Are we talking June, July? Get Lions Club, get Economic Main Street Valley Center, and then get the Chamber of Commerce together to figure out the weekends in September, because that's the month that we're worried about between Fall Fest and this car show. That way we don't affect this year, and then we can think ahead. So then we can have Fall Fest figured out when the car show's figured out.
Well, I think the Lions Club, they purposely wanted to be either before the weekend before or after Fall Fest. And so, I don't know if that's going to change anything.
Well, it's
I will
more
have to, go ahead.
communication is all.
Absolutely communication. I think this year, I heard through the grapevine, the business owner has not contacted me in any way, shape, or form. Nor have I heard any negative, feedback from the businesses along Main Street from the car show. I did hear though that we, did close the road a little earlier than what was posted. So that's the air of, the event organizers as well as the city staff. So we need to make sure that we're properly communicating. We're closing the road when we say we're going to, not before. And so if that was an error that sparked this conversation, we do apologize for that. I also do want to say, Main Street in a community, that's your heart. That's your soul of the town is your Main Street. There's other communities that don't have a Main Street, don't have a downtown. They're actually sometimes they try to create. And so, we have something special in Valley Center. So we want to make sure that we continue to promote that. Typically downtown, you want your retails, you want your shops, you want your, boutiques and all those. That drives, the heart and soul of the community of having a restaurant downtown and going down there and having, a good bite to eat, or, having a nutritious drink, or going to get your picture taken, or buying clothing, shopping at the, the stores. And so, we want to make sure that, we put as much foot traffic through those doors. And one of those is closing the street and having an event, throwing up a bunch of food trucks, closing the street down for Fall Fest. If having be farmers market, there are parts of downtowns and people's communities that they close every week during a certain time of year, every single week for their farmers market, they close the street. And so, I think that we work a lot with our businesses. We do have a lot of service industries on our main street, which is fantastic. I go to the chiropractor on Main Street, but I also know they have a back door, just like at, the barbershop. I've been sitting on the bench and I've seen people come through the back door that park in the alleyway. And so, there's a give and take, I think, on all of our businesses part. And, if there is a concern, they do need to come and talk to the city, voice their concerns. And, my door is always open. My cell phone's on my business cards. I usually say it during the council meetings. And so I welcome them to give me a call and let's sit down and chit chat about it. But absolutely, communication is key in making sure that we close the road down in the time period that we say.
Mr. Stam.
I don't know if you can answer this question. It used to be in the Leakers parking lot years ago. What transformed it from the Leakers parking lot to downtown? Did they outgrow the parking lot, or did Leakers kick them out? Or
I think it was a combination of things, outgrowing the parking lot and trying to bring people downtown.
I was just curious. I didn't know what
Yeah,
what caused the move.
This year was big enough. I don't know. I don't remember if you were there or not, if I saw you. This year was big enough. I think the only parking lot that could come close to holding it would be one of the school buildings, a high school or middle school. And even then, parking would be a nightmare for people. And it's just not the same atmosphere as bringing them downtown on a Friday night.
Motion to approve the Lions Club Car Show for September 15th, 2023.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Have one abstention. Motion carries. Thank you, council.
Motion to approve consent agenda as amended.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Thank you. Item 13, staff reports. Who is up first on that?
Mr. Schrack.
Mr. Schrack.
Good evening, everyone. Just quickly wanted to share with you a recent development, a partnership event that's going to be between Main Street Valley Center and the Chamber of Commerce. We are hosting a couple of Christmas lighting contests again this year. So there's a commercial one for the storefronts and then a residential one. Registration, you are required to register for this if you do want to be included in the contest, as there are some prizes. So that registration deadline is December 15th. You can register at the Ark Valley News, and then judging will take place after that with the winners announced on December 19th. So just spreading the lit holiday cheer throughout the community. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact either Main Street Valley Center or the Chamber. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Owings. Mr. Newman. Mr. Eggleston. Engineering updates, Mr. Shearer. Mr. Vasa. Nothing else. Mr. Arbuckle. Mr. Smith. And Mr. Clark.
Well, yeah, I wasn't gonna let you off that easy, even though Lou's gone and I should.
Yeah, that would be ultimate payback, wouldn't it?
It would be. It really would be. But however, I want to make sure provide everybody updates on road projects going on. As you seen now, and hopefully have experienced the beautiful new concrete road that you can take on Ford Street all the way to Brookfield Apartments. So there's two-way traffic now going to Prairie Lakes and all the way to Brookfield Apartments. You can see the turn lanes that we've added. It really is a nice smooth road. So if you do get a chance, I know you can't go, east past Brookfield Apartment, but I do know that the folks living in Prairie Lakes are really happy, are they not, to be able to come and go both ways from the subdivision, not have to go all the way to Park City, then Wichita, and then back up. So I'm sure that they're thankful for that. As that project continues, they're going to be hopefully pouring, I believe, some curbs along Ford Street, just to the east of Seneca. And so as they continue up, there's going to be actually lanes poured this week on the hill and kind of up on that approach. And so kind of doing it in sections and chunks. While now that the road's closed by Brookfield Apartments, they can tear out that box culvert and replace that culvert area over there. And so, things are moving forward really nicely on the Ford Street project. So wanted to make sure to give you an update on that. Is there any questions? Ford Street? Yes, you can still pour concrete in the wintertime. You just put some blankets down, heat up that ground, and pour away. All right. Also, too, there's a big event happening. So make sure you mark your calendars. December 18th is Council Member Gregory's birthday. So happy early birthday.
We have another meeting, don't we? Oh, okay.
See, I'll be late. It'll be terrible. I can't
That
say
would be
belated.
terrible. You're right.
It's embarrassing. All right. Anything else for me? Otherwise, that's all I had.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
We'll move on to governing body reports. I will take the position of Lou, but I have no comment tonight, or nothing further. Mr. Stam.
I have nothing.
Mr. Evans.
I have nothing.
Mr. Bass.
I have nothing.
Ms. Gregory.
Well, I had a real fun time with the council members who came last night, Mr. Clark, Mr. Eggleston. We did the PBS phone banks, and it was fun. It was fun. It
Thank
was
you
not
for-
real busy, but it was okay. And Jim, yes.
We thank you for volunteering to do that. We appreciate it. Anything further?
No, that's all. Thank
Mr.
you.
Kerstetter?
I have nothing further. Thank you.
Wilson?
I just, light subject here. I hope that Jake does come through on his guarantee of Dexter to drop off the cliff dive to Ford Street. If not, I'm taking all my votes back for the approval on that. But on a serious note, I want to again commend the four gentlemen that were here earlier this evening on their longevity awards. Thank you very much for your loyalty to the city of Valley Center.
Mr. Colbert?
Just the same thing as Councilman has said already. The gentleman that got their recognition was well deserved. I have one thing, as I told you at the last meeting, previous meeting, that I'm looking for anything for legislative concerns. Please let me know. The action is going to be submitted July 1st or January 1st. July 1st. I wish it was July. January 1st. And from January 1st through April, it's going to be very busy. So if you have anything, let me know. Other than that, if there's no further business before the council, I'll make a motion the meeting be adjourned.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for adjournment. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Meeting's adjourned. Mr. Stam, did you get assigned that? We have the budget.